There we go. Okay. I was waiting for that thing to say you're live. How are we doing? How are we doing on this cold, wet, rainy, windy, yucky, cloudy, schmutzy Monday morning? Yeah. It's just not great outside. So I'm noticing I've been having my treatments the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 days, and now my eyes are starting to improve a little bit. And so these glasses are not quite as helpful as they were. I've got other glasses with other prescriptions, other size, other ranges. So they have to change the glasses here soon because these are just not cutting it. I was noticing things are getting a little bit better this morning. So, how are we doing, Simon? Good to see you. Good to see you, David. How you doing? Great White. Bubba's in net tonight. Thank you, Colin. Kachuk is practicing with the non-contact jersey still. Yeah, he didn't look like he would. I mean, I'm glad to see him on the ice. Let's start there, Jaws. Jesus. I'm glad to see him on the ice. He didn't look like he was going like a million miles an hour, just still taking it easy and everything. I don't think that dude's playing Friday. You know what I mean? Like if he's still in a non-contact on Monday, I don't think he's playing Friday. And that's okay. That's okay. We don't need to push it. Hey, Bex. Yeah, hungry. So Barzell shops at Marchman's ankle like it was a log. Reddit and Twitter cheers. Panthers sneeze. Reddit and Twitter, they're disgusting cheaters. They might as well kick them out of the league. Yep, exactly. Patrick Rowe, how you doing? Reddit was blaming the Panthers for Marchman doing that. They keep bringing the Peros. Like, God almighty. I just wonder if these people ever sat down. They probably haven't, obviously. If they ever have just sat down and kind of like actually thought about what they are saying. I mean, Peros played like 2 weeks for us. You know what I mean? Like just and how anyway? I don't know. I'm not gonna get caught into that. The internet has ruined some people. We'll just leave it at that. Yeah, meanwhile, Twitter was cheering for him sticking up for a teammate who got tripped, right? Hockey guy made a video after the game about reviewing the Dirty Panthers. I didn't see that. Yeah, so Bubba, I guess Bubba tonight and Tarasov tomorrow night, right? I know all the team. Yeah, so the standings, we need to start getting back on the winning side of things. I know it was just one loss. We've got some games in hand there, but we're 4 points out of third place, 5 points out of second, 7 points out of first place. Like we want one of those top three, right? And yeah, everybody got points last night, basically, that played. It's kind of a pain in the ass. Simon, I'm doing okay. The energy level is up and down. When I have a treatment, it goes down a little bit, then it goes back up. I'm sweating bullets though, because my body's detoxing. So just like it's freezing outside, and I'm just sweating. Greg, you think Chucky will definitely be at the Classic? Too much publicity to miss, even if he only plays 5 shifts in less than 5 minutes? I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, he don't look. I mean, he's still in a non-contact, and maybe they didn't show the parts where he really let loose, but he still seemed a little bit. I don't want to say timid, but he wasn't skating real hard. You know what I mean? Yeah, Canadians lost to the Lightning on the second of a back-to-back, but they did get the point, right? I'm expecting way too much from the average Redditor. I suppose so. Right? Lil J agrees Chucky might just end up playing 5 minutes on Friday. Hey, thank you, Zach. Thank you, bud. Thank you, Zach. Appreciate you, bud. Says, good morning, Jaws. Not sure if the Jaws ever came in, maybe getting shipped to my house. I swore I put your address in. If so, I'll send it. Haven't gotten it yet, bud. I've been looking. Although we did just get a few things that got delivered to the van today. So it's possible that happened today. No, I appreciate you, bud. Real says, I guess we're retroactively the dirtiest team in the league since we entered the league. Oh, I'm sure. That won't take too much longer. So Sciences says apparently the Miami Winter Classic might actually be the third warmest Winter Classic game. It was 63 at Dodger Stadium, 65 at Coors Field. It projected to be 58 to 62. All right, that's pretty good. No, if I said contact jersey, I misspoke, Bex. It's non-contact. Yeah, he was skating with the other injured. Holy crap. Thank you, Great White. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, Great White. Appreciate you, bud. Thank you, bud. We're good, man. We're good. I don't feel like I'm dying anymore, so that's good. Long as I take my meds and do what I'm supposed to do, I'll be okay. It got ugly here for a minute. My brain just stopped working. I had no choice but to start taking my meds again. Dangle said, or Shan says, Dangle had to issue an apology to Wings fans and admit that they are legit after previously calling them the Sabres 2.0. Huh. It's a long season. But we'll see. Thank you again, Great White. Yeah. Still, I'll be there, Simon. I'll be. It's not Australia. It's Melbourne, Florida, though. Not Australia. Melbourne, Florida. That's why I was letting everybody know, because it's just a couple hours away from the arena, but it won't be any Panther games being played, so we'll see. Be careful buying jerseys from Canada. Larry's House of Hockey made some vids. His are getting stuck at 45 days due to something the U.S. government changed. Yeesh. We had a little bit of a problem shipping stuff to Canada when they had the strike a few months ago. But I don't usually get anything coming in from Canada. Real says, yeah, Gadjevich back after the Olympics. Kulikov March. No help coming unless we trade. And we know how I feel about that. Let's just ride with what got us here. You know what I mean? I'm good with what got us here, man. You know, what the hell? Colin says, more recent trade rumors indicate the Panthers are looking to upgrade the right side of the third D pairing. The hurdle is the cap space, but Connor Murphy is the rumored guys. That's the guy we talked about all last year, right, Colin? All last year. That was the guy that I wanted because we weren't sure how Schmidt was going to do. So he's got a 4.4 cap hit. That's the same number as Ryan O'Reilly. So if you go watch that video I put out, the same thing applies. Now, I guess if we would probably have to send Petrie the other way, but no, it still won't matter. It still won't matter because it's the guys that are on the ice. I don't think that we could do it. I just don't see how. I mean, we could. In fact, we would have to keep Petrie, Colin, because if Barkov's back, we couldn't afford to have Kulikov and Murphy on the ice at the same time. Unless you're guaranteed. I'm not sure how about you wouldn't be able to take Samoskevich out no matter what. Let's just put it that way. That's why I don't think he's getting traded more than anything else, is that his $775,000 contract, we need guys that can play for cheap. So we'll see. Real says, yeah, and the Cats and Rats guys have been saying they heard we're going to try to trade for a defenseman, possibly sending Mackey away. I stand by my my former, current, and future statement that nobody is getting any inside information. Any trade rumors involving the Panthers, unless it's from Friedman and it's almost a done deal, it's just made up. It's just made up. I know how it works over there. I've had enough discussions with enough people to know just there's nothing doing that way. And sending Sam Miskevich away, I mean, it's almost like the Reddit thing. Somebody just go watch my video and tell me how the math works. How does sending Sam Miskevich away make it that we can afford the extra defenseman? I mean, if Barkov's not coming back, we don't need to trade anybody to have the money. And then Barkov comes back. Somebody write me down the formula for how trading Sam Miskevich makes it that we can afford more guys on defense. You won't get there with the math. He makes the league minimum. Hungry. Hey, Jason. Yeah, we need to put these 2 points away. I agree with you there. Real says Knight had to be pulled against the Penguins after giving up like 4 goals. Damn it. That's a pain in the ass. There's some guy who used to work for TSN that gets Discord riled up with a bunch of Atlantic trade rumors. Gotcha. I mean, you would think by this point that people would stop falling for the same shit. Remember when Bennett for $12 million to Toronto was a done deal? Remember that? Hey, Jake, Tampa fans are bitching about Hockey Guys video. I'll have to watch it. It didn't show up on my feed. Stupid YouTube. But you know what YouTube has shown me like a dozen times? They keep showing me the members videos from the Hockey Guy. There's like one that's like an update on his vision issues, and another one. They've probably showed me that video 10 times, but I haven't seen the one that you guys have been watching. So I'll check that out this afternoon, the new one. Real says he gave up 4 goals on 9 shots. Jeez. Jesus. Spencer, maybe he got wind that they were going to pick him for possibly the Olympics, and he said, nah, I need to make sure I don't get picked for the Olympics. Maybe he wants to go on a vacation. Craig says Mackey is young and dirt cheap, so he's staying unless they go crazy and run the bench guys too short. Yeah, the math don't math. Let's put it this way. If I hated Sam Miskevich and wanted to get rid of him, I would look at the math and be like, it ain't happening. Because anybody that you're going to put in replacement of Sam Miskevich makes at least double what he makes, because it's going to be Boquist or Rodriguez. So the idea of moving Sam Miskevich so we can add a piece, it don't make any sense. There's no logic to it. That's the dude we need. And if you watch the video I made, I don't want to trade any of them. We've got good flexibility right now. If Sam Miskevich is not quite doing it in the playoffs, and Barkov is back, we can still put Boquist in there and be cap compliant. Why we would mess with that is beyond me. Simon, yeah, Florida and Tampa don't like each other. That's for sure. That is for damn sure. They want consistency, blah, blah, Campbell, this and that, right? I mean, I thought that game was pretty well. I mean, I thought it was pretty well officiated evenly. And again, we don't see, and this goes both ways, right? We don't see but what's on TV. You know what I mean? Marchand didn't want to fight, gets tackled, nose buddy, he's in the box. Well, did he do something beforehand? Or were they just trying to calm things down and get him off the ice? Silva's got a trade alert. I just bartered away 2 Zephyr Hills water bottles to a Tampa fan in exchange for a Tampa Bay cap and tickets to a Rays game. Oh, good. You don't want to be drinking out of those plastic water bottles anyway, man. Thank you, Real. I did see that Omar taking a leave of absence. Yeah, I wonder what that's all about. They just said personal reasons, so who knows? Who knows what that's going to be? I wonder if a change of scenery, $100 for Omar. Huh? What do you guys think about that? Silva says great trade for me, right? Scientist says, remember when absolutely everyone said we couldn't keep all 3, Bennett, Marchand, and Ekblad, and dozens of wild trade rumors were floating around the media. Exactly. Maybe it's boring. Maybe people love to talk trades. So if other people want to talk about trades and say they got inside information and all of that, maybe I'm just boring for saying no, you don't. But I can't be pretend, man. You know what I mean? I can't be pretend. I've had enough conversations with Randy and Billy and Sifu and Caldwell to know that there's no inside information getting out of that organization. That much I'd be willing to guarantee. Jason says, Knight plays well with a good defense, but the poor guy is going to be shelled a ton. That's right. Yeah, without Bedard too. Not that he's on defense, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah, good point. Good point. Great White, am I coming to town? I don't know right now. I know that my parents are renewing their vows on the 14th. I know I will be there. It's a Saturday. I might just fly in Friday, do the thing Saturday, fly out Monday. Some of this depends on my health too, because this last month has not been good. So I got to see how I feel in the next couple of weeks. It might just be Kyle and I. It might just be Donna and I. It might just be me by myself. So I'm not sure just yet what we're doing. The Panthers. United States plays the 12th, 14th, and 15th, but the games are at night. I kind of don't want to miss those games because it kind of felt like the Olympics was going to be good for the channel, like Four Nations was last year. So I'm giving myself another week on the treatment to see if my brain fog clears up and see how I feel, and then I'll go from there on what I'm going to do. Jake says they really don't like the battering to Hagel every time they play. Yeah. I mean, I've said it. I'm like, can we just stop? Like, stop. Because every time somebody does something and then they get revenge and then we get revenge for that thing and then they got to get revenge for that thing. And then it's like war in the Middle East. It's like at some point, like y'all been fighting for thousands of years. Can we just stop? Like, do you even remember what you're fighting about anymore? So I kind of feel like but it ain't going to happen. It's not going to happen. I got a better chance of trade rumors stopping than I do with the Panthers and Lightning stopping fighting each other. Jan says, if you sort it to newest on Hockey Guy, he has a video on the Panthers being dirty. Okay. All right. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'll have to. Most of the time, if I want to watch a hockey video, I have to seek it out. I haven't had a Hockey Junkie video on my feed in weeks. I haven't had a Larry's House of Hockey video in my feed in weeks. Every once in a while, I get Hockey Psychology. I do usually get Hockey Guy, but they've been pumping me so many members videos that they haven't been showing me his newer. Like if hey, YouTube, are you listening? If you show me the Hockey Guy's new video, especially if it's about the Panthers, I'm going to watch the whole thing, you dummies. I wonder, hold on. I wonder, I'm going to go to YouTube now. I swear to God, if they put it on my homepage right now. No, I'm 3 rows down. I got plenty of Dolphins stuff. All I got to do is watch one Dolphins video. And no, nothing. Oh, well. Anyway. Real says, I do find it interesting that they keep going after Hagel, but not Draisaitl for hit on Barkov in the first Cup final, which was the worst one to you. Yeah, I think they just really don't like each other. Like, it's really personal. Scientist says the fact that no one had any idea that Marchand was coming to Florida when the media was already adamant that he was going to Vegas just proves your point. The reality is no one knows shit. That's true. I mean, we were closing it up. Kyle was basically saying, all right, well, that was the trade thing. That was our trade stream. And I was going into the room to do the recap to wrap it up. And he's like, wait a minute. And it was Friedman. I believe it was Friedman said, we're here in Marchand to Florida. That's when I'll believe it. You know, I mean, it don't take a rocket scientist to figure out that if we're going to do anything, it would be to upgrade over Petrie. That's we don't need insiders for that. You know what I mean? I think basically anybody that's watched this team for 5 minutes is like, yeah, maybe we could use another defenseman. You know, but the Samoskevich thing just tickles my fancy because I sound like a broken record. Colin says, I want 3 points out of these back-to-back games. I want 4. Sorban got smoked by who? Craig? That's a hell of a name. Larry is a Minnesota fan, so now is a good time to check out his videos. Okay. It's not just the video about the Panthers. Okay, gotcha, Jake. Gotcha. He talks about quite a few teams in history of dirty players, but the comments all seem to be people wanting Hockey Guy to call the Panthers dirty. I wish I know that he doesn't do collaborations, but just once I wish he'd reach out to me for a comment since he seems to be making a lot of Panthers videos, and I would rather do something with him than to have to put out the videos of, you know, my thoughts on the Hockey Guy video. I wonder if I reached out to him if he'd actually bite. Shan says at the end of that video, Hockey Guy said something needs to be done to calm fans down and suggested suspending Bennett for all games against the Lightning, including the playoffs. Come on. Shannon, what are we? Oh, geez, I'm going to have to watch that this afternoon. Damn it. Yeah, I saw that apparently the league talked to both teams before last game. Yeah. Simon, in terms of the Eastern Conference standings, man, it's as crazy as it's been. I mean, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 teams within 4 points of the 8th seed. There's nobody out of it. There's nobody in the conference that's out of it. I'm scrolling down to the bottom here. Hold on a second. Hold on. Hey, thank you, Great White. Thank you, bud. Thank you, Great White. Appreciate you, buddy. He said, John, if you come to Clearwater, we'll go snook fishing. Let's put it this way. I appreciate you, man. Excuse me. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make the February trip the length of the trip that I would like to do. But we might do something in fall. I got to let me give me another week, like I said, to have enough Lyme treatments. And I haven't been snook fishing in years. My dad still goes, though. He goes to Sebastian Inlet, but he caught a big redfish at Sebastian a couple months ago or a couple weeks ago. He sent me a couple months in October. He sent me a picture. It was huge, man. Jake, I mean, you'd be allowed to post links on for me, but YouTube deletes them. As far as I know, anytime people have tried to post the link, YouTube deletes it. Let me go to the YouTube. Try to do it on. Maybe I just don't see it on StreamYard. Try to post it, Jake, and then I'll see if it comes through on YouTube. Maybe I just don't see it on StreamYard. Hungry says there's definitely is hate between the teams. Hell, even Lomberg, after going to Calgary, said in an interview that he hates the Bolts. Hagel is the idiot that made himself a target in that. He put Greer on his naughty list too. He didn't. I see. I'll have to watch it. Thank you again, Great White. Thank you, bud. He just used him as an example. He always being sarcastic. Okay. All right. I'll have to watch it. He wasn't. So Beck says he was more defending them. That sounds like that sounds better. Yeah, scientists. It's been, we need, I want the top 3 spots though. Hungry says, with Jaws, YouTube wants you to react to the video and perpetuate the content reaction cycle ad infinitum. That's true. That's true. But he did say, I'll have to watch it. Yeah. Real says, I just find it funny that Point and Reinhardt are already on Team Canada and Hagel possibly. Other Lightning players would be 2 plus Marchand and Bennett. Yeah, that's a good point, man. That's a good point. I wonder how that's all going to shake out. Beck says he stated throughout the entire video that teams who are good tend to play rough, and that's the sport. Yeah. David, you have a spot in Stewart where we could catch legal ones. What is the snook slot these days? Your dad was in Sebastian over the weekend. Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna show up good here. And we've been texting about hockey, so I don't know, but no, that's not that one. Oh, where's the redfish? It couldn't be that far back. Let me see. Let me just search by images. Here it is. No, that's the big bluefish. Where's the here's the snook or the redfish. I don't know if you guys will see that or not, but yeah. And look at where the tail ends. Some bitch is long. I don't know if you guys are seeing that or not. Yeah. You see how far down that tail goes? The big red. And then he actually caught a pretty decent sized bluefish. I haven't seen a bluefish. That's not what I wanted to do. That's not what I wanted to do. Come down here. And then he caught himself a pretty decent sized bluefish too. I haven't seen a bluefish that big in a while. These stupid phones, you can't see it real good. You can't see it. Come on, you stupid camera. Oh well. Anyway, he had a good fall. We'll put it that way. He had a good fall in Sebastian, which is good because he gonna be 80, and like I said, every day he wakes up, he's like, "Hey, I woke up." Real says I saw some people on Reddit saying Cooper should hold back Reinhardt and any other Panthers on Team Canada from getting ice time. I'm good with that. I mean that don't hurt us. That don't hurt me at all. All right. Every Panthers fan that's a fan of the United States is like, good idea. Good idea. Thanks. Just watching yourself. I just felt the whole video was put out because people want to complain about a team when they're good no matter what. Every team has those players. It's very true. Hey, Dana, how you doing? Oh, I didn't mean, why is that happening? You saw there were fans fighting in the stands, Jake? Jeez. That's wild. David says it's clickbait. Leafs, Bolts fans got to know this ain't their year, so what else can they do but attack greatness? Sanchez, yeah, I don't want to be fighting for the wild card spot with the Metro teams in the mix. It's too much left to chance. Lasgirl says one team that did not get the hate or cheating accusations when winning the recent cup was Colorado. It's a good point. They did not. But generally speaking, it really starts when a team starts to get to that second one. You know what I mean? Like I think in Florida's case, we had already kind of started getting that reputation a little bit, and then we lost to Vegas, right? So by the time we won the first one, we were already people were already starting to get sick and tired of us, and then we won it again, and now we're the Chiefs. No, I haven't really reached out to Larry's House of Hockey. No, not yet. Hungry says, in my opinion, the only thing I can say about the hockey guy video is that he didn't mention Scott Stevens, who has the most infamous dirty hit in recent history. There's been a few. I mean, at this point, it's just the Panthers and Lightning hate each other. I mean, to go over the intricacies of who slashed who and who sucker punched who at this point, I mean, it's just all retaliatory in nature now, you know. Real says, yeah, we made the mistake of beating the Leafs in the playoffs twice. That too. Yeah, Stevens was a headhunter a little bit. Isn't all the teams, the top 3 teams, come out tomorrow for the Olympics? I'm not sure what you're asking, Simon. I think talk to text got you there a little bit. Well, you know what they say. There's no such thing as bad publicity, bad attention. I mean, I get why the hockey guy is making those. You know what I mean? I get it. You know, especially he's got a Canadian fan base. It's a whole different group of people he's creating videos for. I've noticed that on any of my videos that have actually done really well, when you start getting closer to 2,000-3,000 views, it's not that many. But like if I just get my normal 500 to 1,000 views, it's the same people. They know me, they know the channel, and generally speaking, there's no issues in the comments. We start getting to 1,500, 2,500, 3,000 views during the playoffs. It's new people. It's usually people, you know, fans of Canadian teams, and then the vibe starts to change because they're not. There's an assumption that because we're Panther fans that we must be okay with all of the stuff that they consider dirty, which most of the time is just normal hockey stuff. Who did the Leafs beat before saying we want Florida? Yeah, Tampa. Yeah. Because the Leafs were beating Tampa. Well, and that was when we were playing Boston. They didn't want to have to play the Bruins, which of course, if you're a Leaf fan, you can certainly understand why they wouldn't have wanted to play the Bruins. Yeah. Real says Canada announces their roster on the 31st. USA's later this week. France already announced theirs. When does Russia get to announce their team? Damn it. Okay, David. Yeah, let me check that out. Let me see. Do I have my stuff here? It hasn't come in yet. Oh, there it is. Okay. Let me see. Oh, I'm not signed in on Facebook. Are they going to make me do the phone thing? Or am I just want to see the picture, Facebook. Don't make me do more. Here we go. Holy crap. Oh, my God. Jeez. David, can I let me know if I can show that, David? Holy moly, that's a big fish. Let me know if I can send that. Holy crap, that's a big fish. Laz says they beat Tampa during a down period. I think maybe they will be the ones to end our run. Then they'll think they get the cup again. I don't know. I mean, if anybody can do it, Tampa would. If anybody could beat us in a 7-game series in the Eastern Conference, I think Tampa, because of Vasilevsky especially. I still would have confidence that we would win, but if I had to pick one team in the Eastern Conference that I feel could do it, it would be the Lightning. 20-pound test, 30-pound test leader. Yeah, Hungry. I hear what you're saying. Great White says, Jaws, don't bottom feed. You'll get nurse sharks out in the Gulf. That's kind of a pain. Am I trying to nuke the channel? What did I do? I don't even remember saying it. What did I say, Hungry? Okay, let me show David's fish. Holy crap. Wait till you see the size of this. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Wait till you see the size of this snook. Where the hell is it? Oh, here we go. Is this it? No, here. Good grief. Look at the size of that snook. Holy mackerel. That's a nice looking fish. Good grief, man. That's a good looking fish. Nice. Very, very nice. Come on back. Mythical says, how about doing a pro Panthers video since people want to call us dirty? Maybe a Miracle in Boston recap video where we beat the best regular season team. Oh, wait, we've I don't know how that would do at this point. They hate us. They hate us. But I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. That's what you used to do a lot, David. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, the Devils might have been, but they can't stay healthy. That's for sure. What did I say, Hungry? What did I? Genuinely, I don't remember. I'm not playing, Hungry. What did I say? How far back was that? It was only, I don't remember what I said, man. Look, the meds are helping, but the brain fog is still there. I genuinely don't remember what did I say? That sucks, man. There, yeah, you're 6'2". Yeah, that's a big fish, man. Real says, I'm starting to hate Tampa more than the Leafs because the Leafs have actually been fairly clean, but Tampa plays the same way as us and acts like they're perfect angels. That's a really good point. Yeah. Yeah, that is a big snook. Mythical, right? Right? Yeah, it definitely is in slot. Yeah. Les says Leaf fans are sneaky. They aren't the most vocal fan base against us at the moment. But they'll stir rumors in the background, where they're usually quiet until the playoffs start, and then we had to make the streams subscriber only last year. The chat was subscriber only because it was getting bad. We couldn't keep up. Ah, got you, David. Oh, when are they releasing the Russ? Oh, okay, Hungry. I get it now. I think we all pretty much, for the most part, even the difference in political opinions, I think we'd all like to see the Russians play. I mean, that was the whole point of the Olympics, I thought, was to put the politics aside, right? What's the biggest fish I ever caught? A big tarpon. I'll say 60 pounds because it was definitely between 50 and 70. I was a kid, so we didn't weigh it, but it was a monster tarpon. I didn't fish for huge fish. I've caught some big carp out here. I've caught some 30, 40 pound carp out here. I didn't even know there were carps out here. First couple of years, I couldn't catch them. I just using little grubs, thinking I'm going to catch perch. And all of a sudden, I'm getting towed in my kayak, and I'm getting zzz, and I'm like, the first time it happened, great white, I got my rod, I got my pole in my hand, and the reel is just zzz, and I call my dad, and I got the phone in one hand and my pole in the other, and the reel is going off, and I'm like, I'm in 2 feet of water, but something is spooling me, and I got no idea what it is. It's like, what are you fishing with? I'm like, a 1-inch orange freaking perch grub lure with just a little hook. And it took me 2 years before I finally got one to the kayak, and I realized, oh crap, there's huge carp out here. I didn't know what the hell was happening. Laz, yeah, I mean, we're going to end up with some of those teams. I don't know if the Devils are going to be able to pull it off. But everybody's within striking distance, so you just never know at this point. Shan says Russia needs to be in. Saw on your channel that Kuch is the only Eastern player in the top 15-point scorers this season. Marchand is 16th. Jeez. Are there sea bass in Maryland? I don't know if they're not in the, I don't know. I don't know if there's sea bass in the Chesapeake Bay. Are there? I don't know. There's rockfish. I've never heard anyone catching them in Maryland. It's not a big, let's see, black sea bass. Okay, so they don't call them sea bass, they're called black bass. Okay, especially the lower and middle sections, which is not me. I'm north. So they call them black bass, which I guess those are sea bass, but we don't get them around here. We get rockfish. Mythical says, I agree the athletes have nothing to do with what their country does. Just let people play. They train their entire life only to be punished for something they have no business in. Yeah, we agree there. Yeah, are the Ducks falling off too? I know the Blackhawks and Sharks, it's a little bit early. Yeah, they've lost a couple of games. I think the Ducks will still make it, though. I honestly feel like the Ducks are still going to make it because who else? I mean, Avs, Stars, Wild are the top 3 in the Central. It's not even close. In the Pacific, the Knights are going to make it. The Oilers are going to make it. And even if the Kings get the 3rd slot in, the Ducks are only going to be their only competition for the wild card, for the 2 wild card spots, really is Utah, maybe St. Louis. I don't really believe in Nashville. Winnipeg is a mess. The Blackhawks are done. Canucks, Flames, Kraken, Sharks. So I kind of feel like, honestly, I feel like Utah and Anaheim will hold on. I don't trust St. Louis, but it's possible. But I think the Ducks will hold on. There's just not a lot of great teams. Excuse me. Davis says, I released 12-foot tiger sharks that probably weighed over 600 pounds. Released a few decent marlin over 500, but they get way bigger, and I've caught 6 bass over 10 pounds, plus thousands of snook and tarpon. There was a spring in 1995, spent 2 weeks in Maine, and it completely ruined fishing in the Everglades for me. Because in the Everglades, you go out, even at that age, and if you caught a 3-pound bass, it was a good sized bass. Occasionally, you'd get 5 pounds. Occasionally, usually 2 to 3 pounds. I fished this dock in Maine for 2 weeks, and I just brought all my Rapala lures. I mean, I must have been catching at least 3 or 4 5-pound bass per hour, and that was like the average. I know I caught at least a couple of 10-pounders, plenty of 7s and 8s, and I couldn't believe it. It was in April too, so of course we were releasing them all, but I never seen anything like it. And this was 1995. She's talking 30 years ago. Yeah, and that's true. The Ducks are inconsistent, but I wouldn't count Q out. I wouldn't count Coach Q out. That's for sure. Great White is Barkov. Barkov's fine. He's not even hurt. He's just resting. That's all you guys need to know. I got inside sources. I got inside information. He's fine. He's coming back. I'm not going to guarantee that, though, but I would pretty much guarantee it. The puppets told me Barkov is coming back. That's my inside sources anyway. What the hell am I talking about? The puppets told me. Even Francisco says Barkov's coming back this season. I'm not gonna get tricky and be like this year. No, this season. Well, it's 25, so that doesn't matter. But yeah, he's gonna be back. Hey, Real says, speaking of dirty players, I wouldn't mind seeing Gudas get a cup if we can't. How about we bring Gudas? How about we bring Gudas as the guy that's over Petrie? Tell my puppets we want Brady for Mackey. Now look. Now look. Oh yeah, the ECHL strike is over. That was good. We don't need that kind of business. You know what I mean? Simon, what's my favorite fish to catch? My favorite fish was when I would grow up on the piers and I would fish with the jigs and the spoons, and I like catching Spanish mackerel and kingfish off the piers. That was fun because they fight, they hit, and the water's dirty, so you can't really see them. And I like fishing with artificials the best. Live bait for me is like, it's not. I like jigs and spoons and whatnot. And the Spanish mackerel, I like when they hit and they take off and you hear the drag. And every once in a while you catch a nice sized king. Yeah, my Gudas was a great fit on this team. Jason says we can't get Gudas. He's the Ducks captain, but that's what we do. We collect captains, right? Right? That is what we do. What's Gudas? I think is making $4 million. I know we couldn't make it work with Ryan O'Reilly at 2.25. I wonder if we could make it work with Gudas with $2 million. Hold on a second. I still have that document out. Let's see. The cap is $95,500,000. If you if you had to have, because what we don't want to do, this is where it gets dicey. The whole thing with the cap and the trading and all of that, this is where it gets really, really dicey. Laz says we couldn't afford Ryan O'Reilly even if Samo was traded. Laz, what I would say is I put out a half-hour video a few days ago that goes over all of the math. And the worst thing in the world that this team could do is trade Mackie Samoskevich because he's making league minimum. And the only way that, and we're talking if Barkov comes back. If Barkov doesn't come back, then the math is completely obviously different. But Samoskevich makes $775,000 a year. Well, if you trade him and you put O'Reilly in, we're over the cap if Barkov comes back. We don't have the money to do that. And so that's why I continue to pound the table to not move anybody, because you can only take half of O'Reilly's salary out, which is it'll be $2 million and $2.25 million. Okay. And now remember, you'd only be putting O'Reilly on the ice. You're adding in O'Reilly, you're taking out Samoskevich, but when Barkov comes back, you don't have the money to do it. And it doesn't matter how you do the math. Now, the other part to that is that if you did get that close up to the cap, and this is what I was talking about, why Samoskevich is so important because of his cap number. Let's say Samoskevich isn't cutting it in the playoffs. Barkov comes back, Samoskevich isn't cutting it in the playoffs. We have the cap space as it is to be able to put Boqvist in that spot, not O'Reilly. And so we don't have the cap space to put Rodriguez there either. So you need Samoskevich, but even if you move him for a piece that makes more than Boqvist, you're not going to be able to put him on the ice, because the way that the cap works in the playoffs is that the roster that you submit for that game has to be cap compliant. And when Barkov is on the ice, we can afford Boqvist, but that's about as much money, because when you have Boqvist, where's my document? When you take out Samoskevich and you add in Boqvist, you are $900,000. Okay, you're $900,000 under the cap. All right. So that's where the money lies. Okay, that's where the money lies. Boqvist is making 1.5. So it wouldn't make any sense to go try to get Ryan O'Reilly, because you would be locked in. You're going to be locked into not being able to afford to put Boqvist on the ice at any point in time, or any of the other guys on the ice. You would end up over. So the way that it all lays out, it just doesn't make any sense the way that the team is currently structured to do much of anything if Barkov is coming back, because Barkov, Reinhart, Verhaeghe, Bennett, Tkachuk, Samoskevich, Lundell, Luostarinen, Marchand, Nosek, Gadjevich, and Greer. Now, if you go get O'Reilly, you're gonna be putting them in place of Nosek. That, to me, is where his place would be. Okay, because if you don't know if Nosek is going to be able to cut it or not coming back from that injury, so you're not going to put Riley on the second line with Bennett and Tkachuk. It's just not going to work out. Yeah, and that's why you're saying he has a great face-off win, and that's true. That's true, but so does the biggest question is, to me, it's not just Barkov. It's Nosek. When is Nosek going to be back, and how well is he going to be able to play? The roster itself, it doesn't matter how over the cap we are once Barkov comes back, but the game time, the roster for a game has to be cap compliant. Real says, Maurice said Nosek is on the same timeline as Barkov, might not be back. Schmidt's arm is out of the cast. Not sure when he'll be good. Right. Hungry, even with salary retention, you're putting yourself in a really bad spot. You're putting yourself in a really bad spot if you did it. First off, Sam Miskevich for Ryan O'Reilly would just be mad stupid. It would just be mad stupid. So we'll start there. But if you put O'Reilly on the ice at 4C, if you put Ryan O'Reilly on the ice at 4C, here's the math. And you have no Sam Miskevich, okay, and you've got Boquist in, the number is $96,075,000. You're over the cap by $600,000. So if you got O'Reilly at 4C because Nosek is not back, and you've traded Sam Miskevich now you got to put Boquist in that spot. The only other way you're going to be able to maybe do that at this point is if you were going to play Greer on that spot. You've traded Sam Miskevich, and now you've put Riley at 4C, and maybe you've got to have another guy at 4C or on the wing, on the left wing on the fourth line. But what ends up happening is you end up locking yourself into not being able to put Boquist on the ice. Now, if you're going to move Boquist for Riley, you're really diminishing your depth. So the way I've looked at it, I've done all the math. I recommend anybody who has questions about the trades and all that to watch the video. There's a lot of things that we could do, but there's so many consequences down the line inside of the way that the cap is structured, that to me personally, if Nosek can't play, you put Boquist at 4C, and to me that's how I see it. And I'm not a Boquist lover, but that contract, you got to look at the numbers at that point. Real says, Josh, stop stomping all my dreams of ridiculous trades. I just want to line across. We could chuck and could chuck. Got to wait 2 more years. There'll be plenty of cap space in 2 years. Michael says, perhaps Zito tells Barkov to rest up this season playing with house money. That's possible. That's possible. So, yeah. So, says, still can't believe we got beat by ECHL players in the game that we had 12 power play. I don't know how much they cared about the hockey. That's for sure. So, Flo, I feel like we'll get some wins here. We got to make sure we're not looking forward. We got to make sure we're not looking too forward to the Winter Classic, though. You know what I mean? Last is they're taking too long to raise the cap. Basically, why McDavid is sitting in Edmonton for 2 more years. We're good on the cap for next year. You know what I mean? Well, we got to see what Bobrovsky's number is. So the thing with O'Reilly is that, and he don't want to move anyway. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, if anybody has questions about the trades, I would it's a half-hour video. I lay it all out. There are things that we can do, but it ends up in a situation where you're robbing Peter to pay Paul, and then you can't play Paul anyway because he makes too much money. So Mary's got to come in. Zito's done a good job. We're in a good spot right now. You know what I mean? And I just kind of feel like roll with what we got. I feel like roll with what we got. But that's just me. And you guys know I like Sam Miskevich. I sure as hell don't want to see that kid get traded to have a minuscule chance at a three-peat without Barkov. So we'll see how it all shakes up. So, all right, I got to roll. I'm taking Matthias is still here. I'm taking them to the gym. So I gotta grab an apple and get them out because they're right outside the door waiting for me. So appreciate everybody hanging out. Thank you for all the super chats. Much love, appreciation. And yeah, so tonight, 7 o'clock, so 6:15, the members stream. We'll be doing that. And then 7 o'clock we'll be live. And then the beat just keeps on coming. Two games in a row. And then don't forget, Wednesday night on the football channel, we'll be doing University of Miami versus Ohio State. So that should be fun. So, all right, everybody. Appreciate y'all. And I'll see you all again in about 5 hours.